think very similarly to Demi, I can visualize the poems when I'm performing them on stage. Like I have the line breaks in my mind and all of these things, and so it definitely helps for memorizing it. The way that I use the page specifically is really just that. Like I will normally when I write a poem, I don't write with stanzas unless the stanzas come out naturally. But for the sake of memorization, I'll break it up into stanzas and I'll memorize stanza by stanza.
That's interesting. Yeah, memorizing it stanza by stanza. I know people that use flashcards. I think Leah B, right?
Yeah,
She'll use flashcards and just like go through the flashcards and keep flipping. I I memorize. So the poems that I find easy to memorize are the ones that are like prayer to me. Like if like I have one called Daily Bread and it's like Our Father who art in heaven, save me from myself. And like I literally I'll be on the phone with Haru and just being like Our Father who art in heaven, save me from myself. I made a mess again. I think this is the end. And I that's how I memorize it. If I could do it that fast, I, and trip up or whatever, then I can slow it down and be like, I think this is the end. These last walls and da da da, So yes, thank you for answering. And my last question before we move over to the Q&A portion is what publishing and performing resources and opportunities do you recommend? Let's put all these people on in the room. Okay, so what are the features coming up? All of them.
That's for everybody.
Everybody.
Oh, okay. um,
There's Mike Tastic, there's Divine Joy Entertainment.
exactly.
Come
Also, you are your best resource. You are your best resource. You know yourself better than anyone else knows you. You're your
Yeah.
best resource. Don't put who you are as a poet. Also, you have curators that help you, like Steph,
Yes.
via Fantastic, Divine Joy, via
Yeah.
Poets Cafe, where I currently work at. But yeah, it's just but you're your best resource.
Yeah. That is awesome.
When it comes to writing, writing and publishing first, and then move on to performance. When it comes to writing and publishing specifically, one thing that I live and die by is Duotro, which is a website that has a database of like all the journals and magazines that are looking for submissions at any present moment, and I can spell that out or give it to people.
Yeah,
but it's
Duotro.
DUOTROPE.com. I think I pay a $5 monthly subscription for it right now. I think you can also use it for free, but if anything, you can just set $5 aside, take 1 month, and do all your submissions in that month. But essentially, you're able to filter by different things that they're looking for, different genres that they're looking for, styles. If it's electronic, if it's postal, if it's full length, if it's a singular poem, there are thousands of journals and magazines in there. So that just makes my search real easy because alphabetically I go down, I open up the website. So what Jasmine was saying, I look around the website, I'm like, is this giving my vibe? Like,
Yeah,
what are we
exactly.
saying right now? And then I determine if I'm going to submit, and all the guidelines are there, all of that. So for publishing, that's the #1 resource that I can recommend. Also, Google is there, and you can find different resources and articles, but that one has been the most comprehensive from my end. For writing resources, I'd say there are a good amount of workshops that are starting up around the community, both in-person workshops and online workshops. I personally enjoy the Sakura series workshops for if you want to write quickly in community, I'd say those are good. If you want to be a little more intentional about the writing, I think House of Chaos's workshops are a little lengthier in terms of the writing part. In May 21st actually of this year, Lady K and I are going to be hosting our own workshop. This is the first I'm saying anything
awesome.
about it, so
Hey.
you ready first? Log on that day on your calendar. There's also going to be a film screening for one of my films that I have going to film festivals right now. So more details will come out on that. And then I know Uba did a workshop
Yes.
at
I
a
was
very
gonna say.
low price. Like Uba's talent is out of this world.
And that workshop was fucking amazing.
I haven't gone
Like,
myself, but I've heard.
No, that workshop
Yeah.
it was only literally $15, and it was literally probably one of the most life-changing workshops that I have taken.
Wow.
Like I was
Yeah.
like, whole different perspective on writing when I was done. I was like, yeah, I got shit to get out.
Yes.
So you ready
But
for
like
that?
he's amazing. Yeah.
So
And
workshops.
Brittany Walker's her workshops are amazing too.
Creative Soul House
Creative
workshops.
Creative Soul House,
Yeah.
their workshops
So,
are fire. Yes.
Like the community is so broad, there's so many things to tap into, so many resources to take advantage of. I know it's
Felicia
very
on
easy.
Saturdays.
Langston's Parlor.
Langston's Parlor.
I know it's real easy to see these flyers and to just like be like, oh, I'll come back to this later or whatever. But next time you see a flyer from one of those workshops, stop, think
No,
about it, see
like-
if you can fit it into your
Yeah.
schedule, and really lean into those because workshops have been some of the
And
most
also, like,
life-changing things.
I think with the workshops too, like they're all different. Like if you read what they're all about, like most of them tell you specifically what they're highlighting. So like you don't have to just pick any workshop. Like you can find one that is more in the lane of like what you're looking for. But like yeah, I think either way they're all very helpful. Yeah. Yeah.
For performance resources, I think tap into the people around you. Talk to the people you think are good performers. Go up to them, ask them what's on their mind when they're going through things. Some of my favorite conversations are when people come up to me after a performance and kind of ask me to dissect decisions or break things down or stuff like that. I'll probably tell you it just happened. But if you have guided questions, like go to the people you think are good performers. Study those performers, like YouTube.
Yep.
I know we've all had YouTube since some of us were kids, others came in high school and college years. But something that I would also implore people to do is to look beyond just poetry performers. Like a lot of my inspiration does come from Saul Williams and Rudy Francisco and Jasmine Mans and things like that. But if you're looking at performances of like Broadway actors or theater actors in general, musicians when they're on stage,
Yes.
shit, you can learn from mimes if you want to.
Yes.
You can learn from dancers. There's so many different people who use their body. It all depends on your intention with your work. Whoever, if you see somebody that does something, you're like, I like that, I want to be like that. It doesn't matter if they're a poet. Study what they're doing that you like, what you enjoy about what they're doing, and then just see ways you can apply that to your own work. I just saw Vincent Boone last week. He was doing backflips and shit on stage. I'm not doing that,
Wow.
but I know there's something I can learn from him. His
Right,
energy,
right,
right?
right.
So, yeah.
At least it was
When
when
did
he
he poetry
right. Yes. Yes.
And red. Thank you.
There's also chillsubs.com. So similar to Duotrope, Chill Subs has a bunch of like magazines you can submit to, and you can filter it out by your vibe. They're very chill, so like they're always like cursing on the website and stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I
like
use them.
okay, yeah. They have a
Jasmine
rejection
contacted
bingo.
them.
They even make rejection fun. So like if you end up submitting to like however many magazines and you get rejected, you basically like cover a bingo thing. If they said unfortunately we're gonna move on at this time, or if they said any one of those like sentence starters. But anyway, Chill Subs is fire. KCBthemagazine.com is the place to be. If you don't have a feature profile, please make those. But thank y'all. At this time, we're gonna open it up to the Q&A. So any questions that y'all have, or even any 2 cents, this is your time now to give your 2 cents, and let's just have an open conversation. What's up, Sol?
So back to okay, all right, I was able this question. So back to, I guess, to your question about like obvious and Jay did I guess the relationship. I mean, I was a visual artist before I went into poetry. I guess is there ever like you ever feel there is some poems that you just felt like this is where I guess you just picture this as something else, or maybe something stronger or do you ever feel like, hey, I know I'm writing, but can I do something else right now? It's just like to relax and give yourself a break. And I know you were talking about pens, like you need a pen and paper, but you ever feel like you're just burnt out from looking for a pen and paper, just writing so much things out that express something else? I remember in like Sonia Massey died that I can't express that into words, but it took me so long. So I had to paint some. So
Yes,
is there any
come on.
poems for that that were just like, okay, these are great poems. They're maybe I think even though you haven't shared them, it's like maybe in your head, I think you kind of wish how much it could be for poems.
So like have we ever like painted a poem?
Even there, just like is there any poems that you think that we can look into for you guys from sort of there? Just like I think this is where I get something else. Or like they just asking, it's like, hey, I want to try something else. Like, where will you push yourself into? If you have the chance.
So one of the things that I actually got from this workshop, he had said that one of the things that poets he thinks don't do a lot is realize that when you're writing, everything is not necessarily a poem. It can be a story, it can be a letter to a friend, it can be a note, it can just be something that you need to get out, but everything doesn't have to be a poem. And that was one of the things that made me like, because a lot of the times I feel like I end up blocking myself from writing because I'm like, this is not coming out the way that I feel like it should. But it's like, what if it's just a story? What if it's supposed to come out the way that it is? I don't know if that answered your question.
I think I get it. That's like you facing that blockage, and it's like, I guess, yeah.
But yeah, I think if it's like if you give yourself more freedom
Yeah.
to know to just let the writing go wherever, then
Or, I guess what I'm asking is like, just as like a first like freedom question is like, because I know as writers we see ourselves as writers, but like,
Right.
if you had the chance, just like, I'm just doing my thing, just like playing, and you don't have to like do anything of your profession. What do you guys just let yourself be? I guess you're childless. So I guess like I know I'm not saying about writing. I know we're writers, but it's also like I sometimes wish like I don't know. I remember this quote from a teacher. It's like every writer wants to be an actor, every actor wants to be a musician, every musician wants to be a writer. I think everyone wants to be a little bit unhappy, but it's just like I think it's still like how do we get closer to that happiness? If that makes sense, closer to that, get over that blockage. If that makes sense.
I mean, I can speak to that. I at the core of my autistic principle really is extending poetry out through different mediums, right? And one of the reasons for that is because I realize we have such limited time in this life that I want to become really successful in something. And that's something I've chosen for myself is poetry. But I love to do so many different things that I'm going to then extend poetry into those other things. So whether it's songwriting with my friends or the medium that I've tackled the most has been filmmaking, where there are poems that I've written and I'll read them out to friends and we'll have a discussion about it afterwards and we start visualizing things and we're like,
Yes.
okay, there's a short film that could be made about this.
Yes.
And so that's how some of my projects have started and then have been executed.
So just like inches closer.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't even think it's a thing of inching closer. I think it's directly diving into the other media. Like,
Right.
it is a film. Poetry is the narration. Poetry could be the dialogue, but it is a film, right? And I had the pleasure of participating in this thing called Whispers of Rhythm, where I got to write a poem with a dancer. So I had to visualize my poem beyond just what it was going to be as words. I had to visualize what it could look like in movement. And so the dancer and I crafted, the other poets took the route of like writing the poem and then the dancer adjusted to whatever they wrote. But for me, I talked to the dancer. I was like, how does this make sense for you and the type of dance you do and your style? And we like crafted this beautiful poem together that I've very seldom performed on stage. But it exists better as a performance between a dancer and a poet.
That sounds beautiful.
Yep. I'm actually working on, so I'm also an artist, and it seems like you're a painter too. I'm working on a piece called Face Mask, I believe, and basically I'm gonna take a canvas, put down like mirror sticker on it, and then I'm gonna put a face mask on top and put like a mirror kind of like frame on the outside. And basically the poem is the blemish on the mirror or on you. But the face mask is gonna be on what looks like a mirror. And it's like that's all the message is. I don't have all these fancy words for it. I just want you to really sit with that question and kind of just be stunned. You know, so I think it is just diving completely into another medium. It is still poetry.
And the art is
Yes.
the art you're making that sounds like in its own way.
Yeah,
Poetic.
rhymes. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I had a comment about. Like I stick to writing, but it's just I free write. Just write how I speak. Just write it out of the body. Get it out. Get rid of the block that's inside. Say I'm angry about something. I was write about the anger. It's not profound. It's just saying I'm angry. Fuck this. Fuck that. It's just me just on the page, vomiting on the page. Get rid of the blockage.
And then you'll go and edit later, right?
Exactly.
But you gotta get it out first.
I don't always edit, but I just leave it. I'm still just looking at it
Yeah.
to get the out of the body, just to release it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Right,
the
we got
I'm the
questions?
same
Okay.
way.
Atlas had his hand up. What's up?
Hi, I'm Atlas. I just wanted to know if you guys ever came up with or felt it be difficult to come up with concepts for the page and for the stage, and whether or not there were times where you had pieces that you wrote that kind of meshed together for the page and then became better when it were performed on the stage.
That's cool. That's a good question.
I mean, that's something that I've directly done. That, like I was mentioning, I don't like performing shorter poems, but
Right.
there are some of my poems that people really enjoy that actually are a composition of 2 or 3 poems that I put together. But I never said that. I just smushed them together, added a transition line, and made it sound like one poem. So yeah, I've definitely done that.
I've never combined my poems. Just like ever. But I think that's because all my poems are so damn long. So if I
Yeah.
combine them, we're gonna be here for a while.
So you told your book, which is available on Amazon. Yeah.
Oh, he has his hand.
Got a question. It's going back to because something triggered, and this is what always happens. I'm blessed that I could hear things and it triggers. I'm a person that I also have another program where I hear reality. Right. That's how I look at poetry. For the most part, it's reality. It's what a person is trying to perceive as reality, or what they see. So, for me, I say thank you to the panel because I open the door for ghost pieces for people who are nervous on the stage. But when y'all were talking about, do you have pieces that you can't really? Hell yeah, I can, because I could be at a certain emotional state, dealing with whoever or whatever, and personally, I'll write some fucked up shit. It doesn't mean that I'm against you or not like you. It's what I'm feeling at the moment. So I think for myself with what you guys were saying, I'm gonna also open the door for people that have those raw, vulnerable pieces that maybe they don't want to read because it might offend XYZ. The other thing was what you were just talking about. Like for me, I believe all the arts can fuse together somehow. I performed behind jazz bands, and it's something magical when that happens. I think like for me, I wish I could be memorized, but I'm not gonna say that because that's up to me to have the want to do it, right? Like that's what it takes. You guys are phenomenal when you perform your pieces because you leave it on that stage, and I love that. I'll get there sooner before later, but I just want to say thank y'all because just in the talk of back and forth, it like triggered things in my mind because I think it's hard to say some things because what I feel a week ago is not what I feel currently, and I don't know what I'm gonna feel a week next, or but I'm human, and I think one of you guys said it. I'm fucking emotion full. Disrespect me the wrong way, I'm gonna write that ass up. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean I don't like you. It's just what I'm feeling currently. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you.
Also, I have just featured at Paulie's Women's History Month showcase on Sunday.
Yes.
Shout out to Paulie. He is a curator. Paulie, why don't you tell everybody in the room what you do? Put us on to some of your events coming up.
Honestly, I just I had a dream to get this started, and it's matured. I'm grateful enough to sit in this room with more than one curator here, and also some stellar hosts over there. I see you on the side over there, D. Um, um, I'm just grateful. That's all. Y'all believe in me, I believe in y'all, and this is how it's working. The best is still to come. Believe that. I'm trying to get together a huge AIDS foundation. I'm gonna do an AIDS walk open mic. So if y'all chip in or don't and just want to walk with us, come May 18th. So, but thank you because y'all ladies, both of y'all. Had you footwork? Had you?
I'd like to say one
You
thing.
have a question?
No, I have a question. I just want to say something. I appreciate y'all for being here, doing this for all of us, because y'all doing the work. Y'all in the field, So it's for me, because I'm still getting there. So I'm just glad to be in this presence right now. So thank you to everyone here.
Yes. And I have a question. So all of these folks have actually performed Off-Broadway. So Off-Broadway, remind me again, that's when it has more than how many seats? Like 100? Okay, whatever.
It has
Okay, it's a big stage kind of thing. Okay, so my question, definitely more than like a little open mic. So my question for y'all is like, do you prepare for an off-Broadway opportunity the same way that you would like a regular feature? No? Okay, what's the difference? Because I've never even done like an off-Broadway poetry performance. So like, what would be your advice to prepare people for that?
I had a themed feature around the boroughs I lived in, Bronx and Manhattan. So I had to cater poems to around the theme.
Yeah.
I told the story with the whole feature for the Bronx, living in Manhattan, how I've grown as a woman, living in Manhattan as a child living in the Bronx. Just tell the story. It's a story, but it's more of like still a story.
Yeah.
No matter what. It's more of a straightforward story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you create more of an intentional set, like a longer story.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Demii?
I think I can double down on the intention thing. The last time I did a Off-Broadway, I did a poem that I have not done since then. And I did that poem specifically because it worked about the poem that I was doing, but it was a matter of like, I wanted to talk about my story more, and that felt like the chance to do it. So yeah, and it was very much intentional.
Yeah.
So I can definitely solidify intention.
Okay. Nice.
For mine, I definitely had to prepare differently. So for my off-Broadway performance, it was like 1.5 to 2 years ago. I did a solo show at an off-Broadway theater in like Greenwich Village, but I had like a 40-minute set prepared.
Wow.
So I've never done a feature past 20 minutes, so a 40-minute set was something that was like, it took a lot of stamina that I had to build up. So I prepared, normally for a feature, I'm rehearsing for 2 weeks in advance. For that, I was rehearsing 4 months in advance. I had visuals, I had a live band, I had a wardrobe for it, like I had set design. There were so many things.
So
There were so many things
Let's
that
go.
were going on at once. And for me, it's like, I had a voice recording of myself talking to me as well. So it's like, if I'm not prepared for those things, it's gonna completely throw me off my game in the middle of my performance. Like, one of the things I wish I was better at was just taking the unexpected in stride while I'm performing. I'm good with that with the audience, but if it's like a audio cue or a song that comes in out of nowhere, like I've had to really work to be comfortable with those. So I really had to work hard to be in tune with the band. I only had one rehearsal with the full band. And that rehearsal was the day before the show itself.
Wow.
And so like there was just a lot of mental focus and preparation that went into it. But that had more to do with all of the elements going around it and the length of the performance rather than it being off Broadway. Right?
Okay, so the length of the
Yeah, like the size of the stage doesn't matter. Poetry Me Please is 400 people.
Right,
So like the size of the audience doesn't really matter to my preparation.
Yeah.
Bless you. It's like what's going into the performance, what are the elements that are around it, and what do I mentally need to be prepared for.
Okay, I love that. So just really truly focusing on your set and your performance. Yeah, that's awesome. Any folks in the room here run their own open mics or anything like that? Can we start plugging people? All right, we got Tamara, we got Will. Tamara, why don't you tell us about your open mic?
I do poetry programming.
You have to speak louder for them.
I do poetry programming in Astoria houses through the public housing community fund.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes.
Do weekly programming, and I come up with events, and I have to come up with a public art installation. I am preparing for an event for next month, and I'm looking to feature people. And I'm looking to give people paid opportunities.
Nice.
Okay. There we go.
And I'm also looking to collab with people who do workshops to introduce the people in my community about how poetry is beyond rhymes, and that's part of the name is the fruitfulness of poetry beyond rhymes. And yeah,
That's awesome. Yes, thank you for sharing. All right, Will, you had your hand up.
yes.
Louder.
Can you
wanna
can
be
you
up-
speak up, please?
You.
All right.
I do too much extra. Like, that's just my personality. Right? It was my personality. Then I turned it to a song. Then I turned it into an open mic.
Yeah, it's a song.
Yeah. And the idea of being too much an extra is just that, like, I've always had this big energy and whatnot, and, like, it's not welcomed everywhere. I'm not, it's not, it's just not, and I know it's not. I got ADHD, I gotta be self-aware, I gotta be like, yo, well, maybe run it forward, I don't know, just do it, I don't know. But for the most part, this open mic is really, kind of like, changed the way I really look at things, but also like been such a like it's been such a movement for me because I've actually gathered like some of the most genuine people I've met in this time.
Yeah.
and I've just made that into routine. Like I'm actually not networking. I'm just working with my friends, and that's the best part about it.
Nice.
So it's like I don't have to worry about anything really. And yeah, I got business cards, and the whole idea really is just to give you guys your flowers when you deserve them. You know, I actually, you get a ticket, you get a rose, you throw it at your favorite performer. A lot of my artists and guests, they go home with bouquets. So like, you know, I just want to make sure that you guys feel welcome. And I have business cards that came in today.
Come on now.
I'm mad.
Oh, that came in today.
Yeah, I'm mad.
The fresh
I'm mad.
business card.
Definitely be
So,
passing
and
those
I'm
The
out.
fresh
just
business
saying,
card.
Alright.
April 10th is our big event, so
Hey.
I-
Great. Yep. So lock in with him after this. Poetic. Yep. I was gonna say you can't hide.
I was gonna say it. Called the Harlem Bomb Shelter. It does. It's every fourth Thursday. I make 2 years as the host next month.
Woo!
So that's pretty cool.
Hey, that's what's up.
Congratulations.
Let's
So
go.
if anyone's interested in that, it's Harlem Bomb Shelter on Instagram. And I just want to say something real quick while I have the floor. This was amazing to listen to you guys speak and to like see how you really think about what I see you guys do on stages. You know what I mean? I think that was like really dope because I'm always interested in the why and the whole story behind a person. If I'm gonna sit here and like listen to you speak or talk to you, like you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like 'cause people give you surface level, I don't want to curse, but like surface level shit all the time, and it's like sugar, thank you,
No worries.
all the time, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is boring. So I really enjoyed this like so much. Even like I have so many, you know, I have so many opinions on everything. I love this. So
Yes.
when you do
thank
part
you.
2, let me know.
Hey, okay, that's good.
June.
Real quick, we got Soul. I want to make sure we get Soul because he got the Plum Bum app website now.
You know, I always love hearing people say "blah, blah, blah." It's always supposed to be a fun word to say. I don't know how it sounds. I'm sorry, it's that's yeah,
So
it's
cute.
always lovely. However you say it, it's always something. It's kind of like I'm thinking of like too much like I'm like oh, so.
Can you
yeah.
please speak? Can you please speak up?
Thank you for telling me that. Yes, because it's like we do need to engage the social public and we do need to adjust ourselves. But with that, there's a place where I'm trying to make where we don't shame you for being who you are. And I mean, I think just a place to. It's okay to not be where you want to be, and also to be safe to get criticized.
Yeah.
Where we give a place to give feedback on your writing. But it's not in a way where it's like we don't want to bring you down. We actually want to bring you up and make sure your voice is fully out there. Because kind of like if your poetry is maybe meant for another form, we want to put that out to you, so
Okay.
you can actually get there where you need to. And that really doesn't happen unless you're social, unless you're people who are gonna be honest with you. I always try to create that honesty by just being mindful of how you're talking, of how we are as people. That we are complicated people, that we're not perfect. And just like recognize that imperfection as being human. Because our next workshop is gonna be April 19th.
April 19th. Okay.
That's Saturday. Cafe, and we're gonna move around. We're gonna be working on small collaborations. So let me know. A lot to work on. And yeah, on that topic is gonna make poets being human. Mir Baraka, I'm like inspired by this to say that where it's like written by this church writer. He's like he's talking about him as his favorite anti-Semite, but it's kind of like talking about his personal problems, but it's like it's coming from this frustration. I think we all have frustrations, and how the truth is kind of the line between the truth between good and evil, you know. And I think it's just like understanding that we all have those truths. We may not be comfortable saying this yet, but people all have those truths, and that we may not feel understanding that we are not alone in our feelings, that we are all here together. And yeah, April 12th, we have the philosophy workshop. Let's go now called the philosophy circle. We are discussing capitalism. We have not agreed guns, capitalism. Just trying to break words apart and helping you kind of deprogram everything you're programmed with. Because that's a real condition that's been conditioned. So let's decondition like being social and being people you can be yourself with. Yeah, I'm doing a hard to just sometimes feel like you're outside the honestly poetry community. It's like a place made of outsiders. But still, it doesn't mean that everything's perfect. And the thing is just like, it's okay. It's okay that you're not perfect. It's what we want is not just love ourselves, but to feel love. Actual, peaceful, positive, not the negative peace. That's often given, like just giving positive affirmations.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Well, let's plug.
Go ahead.
Doing
Yes.
a workshop on June 19th for PSNY. It's about emotion, holding thread to your emotions. I like 3 writers, Maria Estevez, Solivares, and Audre Lorde.
Wow.
So it's going to be an incredible workshop. June 19th, mark your calendars.
Is that virtual?
Yes, it's virtual.
You miss.
What about me?
You're also a curator.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. I have my own open mic and showcase that I host. It is holiday/season themed. I have to say that. Because I started celebrating the seasons and not just the holidays.
Oh, it's
Yeah, no, very much celebrating spring this time. Either way, it is a place to come and have nothing but divine joy in your life. The next open mic is this Sunday, actually, the 23rd at 7 o'clock. It's going to be amazing. I have features and it's open mic this, so, come and have a divine joy night with me.
What's the name?
Divine Joy.
Divine Joy.
Yes,
Sure, thank
divine
you.
joy.
I'm gonna see
Two
if there's
E's,
any more
a
questions, and then we're gonna
divine.
network.
Cafe.
Talk to him.
Do we have any other curators in the room? Anyone who wants to plug anything before we move over to the networking portion?
What about the KCB event next month?
Uh-huh.
Well, we have one question, and then I'll tell you.
I'm not a curator. I'm not plugging anything, but amongst everyone, they kind of said something in regards to like workshops and open mics. I kind of got lost in the sauce with like what's going on. I heard Creative Soul, Langston Parlor, Chill Subs, KCB, Yupa's Workshop, The Fullness of Poetry, Beyond Rhymes, the Harlem Bomb Shelter, Plum Bum, and Divine Joy. And did I say something wrong, write something wrong, or miss anything?
Sounds like you got it all. Too much and extra.
Too much
Too
and
much
extra.
and extra.
The fruitfulness of poetry.
Instead of the full.
The fruitfulness of poetry beyond rhymes. Together, that's all together. Okay, for sure.
You got too much and extra.
Yeah,
Too much and extra.
You got spoken words with
Say on that problem, I faced that problem so many times. There's just so many open mic things, and like
Oh, and-
right now, sorry, never go on to never go. I do want to say is that.
And also you got
you
got KCBthemag.com.
Because we need. There's a lot of writers that work, and they may not all be in New York. But I have been making a calendar of New York City poetry events, or just writing events, or just events that could just inspire, that are kind of low cost, that won't break the bank, but will still get your energy flowing.
Yeah.
Like I included some of the events, but I do just want people to submit events so I can make sure to have that updated, so people kind of don't have to go through Instagram. If they can go through Instagram, or if you want Instagram, that doesn't mean you gotta lose your community. And that's kind of like what I'm trying to do. And really, if you just want to go on that calendar, I can give you the link afterwards. But really, it's boom.app. And yeah, there you pretty much see an updated calendar for the events in New York City, organized in downtown, uptown, Queens. And yeah, I'm going to soon eventually we'll try to start a newsletter through there as well. So we can get the events. So there you go.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice. Yes. All right. Any other questions for our panelists?
We love you.
I got one.
All right. What's up?
It's not directed to anybody specifically. I don't know who can answer this, but so I've been a poet for a while, but I'm new to the poetry community, and I follow a lot of y'all, and I know that there's this trend with a particular scheme of poetry, and I'm just curious as to where it originated from, and it's the concept of I've been writing these poems.
Let's talk about it.
That's a little too much and extra, now. That's a little too much and extra.
Will, you want to talk about it? That's your team.
the question was going to.
That's your teammate.
Will, do you want to talk about it? No,
And himself.
Bro, you know.
Well, basically, it's just about just being the glue for this community.
Okay,
Alright,
so
it was started.
King Kamayera is this amazing poet, and he has a poem called "I've Been Writing These Poems," which he's dropping his album the 24th. He's dropping the Monday. Monday he's dropping his album, and so he wrote that poem based off of like doing a slam and just not letting your poetry be based off of whether or not you win the slam or how many points you get. So he wrote a poem about why he writes these poems. That then led into him promoting a challenge of everybody in the poetry community writing their own poems, starting off with "I've been writing these poems," just kind of letting the poem take you wherever. And the challenge was supposed to be 60 seconds, but you know, poets, we do what we want. So,
You know it, that's right.
nobody followed the rules.
That's a fact.
But like, he got over 200 submissions. It's been a phenomenal challenge. So yeah, it originated from King Kamayera.
He needs his flowers.
He's the one that has his first, like
All of
he
them.
wrote his
All
poem.
of them.
I've been writing these poems. That's where it started
And
from.
he dropped the
Coming.
And
visualization with
he
it
has a
too.
visual for it as well. Yes,
It's
tap in
in
with him. He's
It's in
amazing.
conjunction with the Dope Poets,
Yes.
which is a group that he's a part of with Jerome Hecka, King Quince, Brittany Barker, Lady K, a brother-in-law, and I'm missing one person, Storyteller
Storyteller.
Gordon. Yeah, so the Dope Poets, King Kamieta, were sort of the originators for that.
Yes, phenomenal group.
So is that like that trademark and copywritten? Like, if somebody else was to use that, would they get sued?
Probably.
Like respectfully, they better not.
I don't know, but we jumping.
Cause we right, like we all,
Yeah,
we all
we
go
all
up
know
for them.
exactly
Like
where it
they
came
better
from.
not.
Yeah.
They better not.
You know exactly where it came
It's
from.
around.
right,
It's around
yeah.
the world at this
We
point.
know where
No,
where
no,
it started.
no,
They're like,
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
you
Let me
absolutely
rephrase
can
that.
write your own piece with that start. Like,
Right.
that-
Let me rephrase that. I don't mean take credit for it. I mean start their poem off with it.
oh,
that's
yeah.
exactly what the challenge was
Yeah, no,
about.
that's like the challenges for like whoever
Yeah.
wants to tap in.
So it's an open challenge.
Pretty
Yeah.
much,
Yeah,
yeah.
facts,
Yeah.
facts,
Pretty
facts.
much.
So please.
But you should hashtag it and all that.
Yeah,
stuff
no,
so that
definitely.
everyone can connect with with the piece and all that.
Hashtag the dope poets and hashtag King Kamieta.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Who
very much.
helped become the glue in this
I've been
whole
writing the
Too much.
you had one job, Will. You had one job.
Sound like Brian Williams right now.
But that
I was on the play. I was on the
but that shouldn't mean that people can't come up with their own challenge respectfully. Right? Like us as poets, I feel like we need to be challenged.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's when our best work is that comes out is the challenge.
That's a fact.
You know, Hatris blessed me, and I happened to bless the stage with Anubis. I never thought I could do a 30-minute set. I did it, right? But when I saw Anubis, that brother just put me in a new position of what real deal is.
Yeah.
Right? So I think challenges is what helps us grow and evolve, and you know, as artists just in general, not just poets, as artists in general, whether it's hip hop, whether it's drawing, whatever it is, even a sport. You want to play against a person that's a better competition in it.
Right.
Like if I play basketball, I'd want to play against Jordan all day, because I know I'm gonna get better by playing against the best. You know, so.
Awesome. All right. Well, that concludes our panel. So let's give a round of applause for our wonderful panelists.